pterodactyl of Flat Earth Talk Radio. It's Adam Josh on the Morning Banana Show.
Hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome to the Morning Banana Show. I'm your host, Adam Josh. Let's get this thing underway. This is so dangerous. But welcome to all those who have tuned in. How is everybody doing? Today is Friday? Is it Friday? 8th already? Wow, where does the time go? I get so busy. It's Friday, March 8th. Desiree's birthday is coming up in 3 days. If you know Desiree, make sure to wish her happy birthday on Monday. Desiree is kind of like me in that she doesn't have a lot of social media accounts. She has a Twitter account, but recently has made it private. So she's there on Twitter at DesireeVZG. But, so, thank you again for joining us. My name is Adam, this is a banana, and this is the Morning Banana Show. We're at number 14. I got interrupted yesterday, and there's a chance I might get interrupted today. Because I have left the device that's recording this on and not on airplane mode, which would be kind of a mistake when you're trying to record something. So let's see how it goes. We're throwing caution to the wind today. But yesterday I was talking quickly, I was getting into it about SNC Lavalin and the controversy that's surrounding Justin Trudeau right now. And basically this former CEO was burned because he was caught and pleaded guilty in court to bribery in the case of trying to get a hospital built around Montreal. I was also saying that every time I go through Montreal, it's under construction, which is totally true. And another thing I was touching on was every time another thing I was touching on, completely lost my train of thought what I was going to say there because I opened up some news stories. I can't believe that Joe Biden is going to be trying to run for president in 2020. Like, clearly he's completely off of his rocker and saying, and he's a Scorpio and I'm a Scorpio and I'm saying that not a good idea, Mr. Biden. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Somebody tell him that. So, in other news, I've been watching this show, The Orville, by Seth MacFarlane, and I'm almost up to the most recent episode. They're at episode 10 right now. And I have episode 8 and 9 on the computer at home. And yesterday I was in the middle of... I had to fix some chairs up. I'll show you guys. I was doing high chairs yesterday. I usually don't move the camera around in the office, but some chairs from Restaurant One, high chair and a chair. I got to go return those, and then I have more to get to. just fixing up some chairs today. And yesterday I was doing some minor plumbing and minor electrical work. Nothing too complicated. So when I'm done with the morning banana, I am going to probably head back to restaurant 1 and then go over to restaurant 2, which is in another city. Of course, we couldn't just be local and have 2 restaurants in one city. That would just make too much sense. So, I've been talking back and forth with Mrs. Powerland, Math Powerland's wife, about getting her on the morning banana show. I know that they're going through a tough time with all the constant drama. I guess you would call it perps. People sent in to befriend them and then turn on them. As long as I've kept tabs on Math Powerland, it's always been something like. At first, it probably seems crazy, right, when you're watching him, because you're like, okay, come on. Not everybody is out to get you. But then, I watched the IPS thing on it was on a mainstream news clip where a guy who his handle is Infinite Plane Society, but he's got like 5 different names. He's claiming to be Math Powerland on mainstream news while promoting a research flat Earth sign on the side of the road that they put up. And I saw it with my own eyes. It's crazy. You can find that clip on YouTube. And then the other thing that I saw with my own eyes was that flat Earth asshole guy, Jake Gibson, completely do a 180 about face and turn on Math Powerland. So either Math Powerland and his wife Katie have got to be the most gullible people in the world, or most trusting, or people just love turning on these people. I have no idea why. What do they do that they get turned on? And the most recent event, as far as I was keeping track, was that on Math Powerland's NASA channel, he was talking about somebody had propped up a camera in his Las Vegas studio and was filming without his permission in his studio, their private lives in the studio for a few months, which is crazy because I think his wife Katie was pregnant at that time. Very dramatic. And what do you do if you're Math Powerland and you find out that somebody's been secretly filming you? And Math Powerland was told that this guy is in the military. So now, in Math Powerland's most recent video, he's talking about that I checked. Maybe it's been switched since then, as far as most recent videos. But he was talking about, your tax dollars in America are paying this guy in the military to pose as a flat earther and get into the Las Vegas studio and then film to find whatever for a few months. Very weird. But that would be upsetting. There's cameras in my office right now, but I'm the one monitoring them. I'm sure they could be hacked, but nobody would see anything aside from me eating lunch and having customers come in. So, anyway. Maybe Kate Powerland herself can explain it. Good morning, Vlad Tepes. So instead of talking endlessly about the Powerlands today, I'm gonna risk giving them a phone call and ask them to explain it. So let's give She Powerland a phone call and see what happens. If she doesn't answer, that's fine. Good morning, Drew.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 407.
All right, that went straight to voicemail. So I would have left a message, but then I also would have left her phone number. Some other time. There's somebody else that wanted to get on the show. The guy, he's on Twitter. One of my friends, Brian Hool. And maybe we'll get him on the show some other time. But I'm almost done this banana. If you guys have anything you want to chat about in the comments, let me know. I'm gonna get to work. It's Friday. Oh, I can talk about something real quick. We're all from different parts of the world, right? You guys are from wherever you are. I think a lot of you are probably from the States who watch this. But do you have a fluoridation program for your kids? Kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. I can remember when I was growing up, I can remember grade 2 and 3 being offered this like shot glass of pink fluid, and the teacher is telling us, don't swallow it, just make sure to swish it and spit it back out. So now, I drank that fluoride stuff when I was younger, as they offered it to me, and I even got a couple of vaccines in high school, before I even knew what it was, like here's the thing. My dad didn't even care what was going on at my school. He didn't care that I was being shot with vaccines. My dad was drinking and completely oblivious to what I was up to. So, I remember standing in high school in grade 9, and I'm standing in line, and then next thing I know, I have a vaccine in my arm, or a needle in my arm. I didn't even know what it was. So now, they didn't give me a pamphlet, they didn't give me any information, any ingredients. I could have had an allergic reaction, I could have been allergic to something that was in the ingredients, but no, it's all good for everybody. Even cookies are good for... Cookies give some certain people nut allergies. Some people with nut allergies have allergic reactions to nuts, but my dog sprained shoulder in a boat, fluoride, and then I was trying to read that. Dog sprained, low place. Fluoride causes dental fluorosis. I'm trying to read this. With kids down the street, teeth all messed up. Yep. I'm really glad that I didn't wind up with dental fluorosis. So I'm in Niagara, and I'm in an area that's called like the Garden State, or the Garden City. Before I get into that story, Drew, that sucks that your grandma died, and it sucks that you have to go to work. I remember when my grandma died. She was a Pisces, my grandma, and I was really close to her. And as obviously I'm close to Pisces people, and it sucks. I hope that you were able to visit your grandma and talk to her before she passed. I was able to go visit my grandma and chat with her while she was coherent, and then I watched her kind of slip back and forth between being like a child and being a grandma. It was rough. But my heart goes out to you, and I'm here if you need to chat about anything. That sucks. Back to the dental fluorosis thing and fluoride. I'm in an area. Yeah. She's in California. My family's in California too. Drew and I might be related. My mom's family is all in California. So I flew back a little while ago before my papa died of cancer. They're north of LA by about 3 hours if you're driving. So not near LA, but Fresno area. Yeah, same. Telling you, our grandparents probably know each other. I bet. Back in the day. Yeah, my mom's side is all American, so my mom still has an American passport, which is really funny because last time I took her to the States, we were coming back and crossing the Canadian border, and the Canadian border guards are asking my mom, how long do you plan on visiting Canada? And my mom is like retired and didn't know how to answer because 30 years ago, you didn't need all this type of ID to cross the border. And she didn't have any plan or any documents with her. So she just said, I'm here to, I live here, I'm not visiting. Oh, okay, so where's your landed immigrant papers? Where's your address? Where's this, where's that? And she just started crying, I don't have it. My mom slipped under the radar. 30 years ago. Anyway, so I'm half American. Some of you already know that. I love California. I want to go back. Oh, Drew, you got me thinking about California. You suck. It's so nice there. I've had the San Simeon tours of the Hearst Castle in San Simeon. I've been to the Navy dockyards in San Diego. I had ship tours of the USS Dewey. I had the left coast, but my American family is a lot of military people, so Navy, and yeah, you've been to Hearst 10 times. Yeah, you have to go see everything. I only did one tour around the Roman pool with the gold tiles on the floor and the ceiling that people try to take off, and I went through some of the ceiling. Yeah, some of the rooms with like, I mean, all the rooms have hand-carved ceilings, but I mean, I could talk about Hearst Castle for a while. It's a beautiful place, though. Yeah, it's a lot of vegan restaurants too. I mean, for me, when I flew into California, into LA, I had planned to go with my mom, and then she decided to back out because of this episode I was telling you about last time we went, and she got all freaked out. So I've been to Bakersfield. I've been to Oildale too. I drove through Oildale because I was like, oh, Bakersfield, Oildale, curious about where corn came from. I was a big corn fan back in the early 2000s, late 90s. But anyway, where was I? So the fluoride. Let's just skip all that for now. Yeah, I mean, I don't like crystal meth, but you know, a lot of people do, and they live around that area. So, the hell are we talking about? So, I grew up in this area, the Garden City, and they don't put fluoride in the tap water here, but they do all around, like Halton, which is in the north, Toronto, surprisingly. I mean, Toronto, the city I was conceived in. Toronto fluoridates their water. Like, how many millions of people? There's like, what? Is it 2 million, 1.2 million people or something like that in Toronto? Do they know that the water is fluoridated? Like, it's crazy. They fluoridate the water all around Halton. Toronto population. 2.73 million as of 2016. So let's say there's 3 million people in Toronto. Anyway, they fluoridate the water. And I can't believe that they get away with it with all the people in Toronto. Like Halton, so that's Hamilton, Burlington, Oakville. I was servicing in the GTA, which is all that area around the top of the penis of Lake Ontario. On top of the head of the penis. All around that area is the GTA. And I was shocked. that Halton fluoridates their water. It's a regional thing. So here in the Niagara region, in the area that I'm in, they took fluoride out of the water in 1980. Now I was born in 81, so I missed it. I was actually really fortunate, right? So whatever fluoride I've ever had has been consumed through drinking, and these fluoride treatments in elementary school, which I remember. I remember a couple of them. So flash forward. Oh yeah, and they don't fluoridate. They stopped fluoridating not because they cared about our teeth, but because this is wine country, the Garden City. Remember I was saying that? So the fluoride, I'm sure they found, was killing the plants and ruining the yield. We have vineyards everywhere, just like California. It's very similar, except we have brutal winters for like 6 months here. But a lot of people here go to California, not just myself. So we have a lot of vineyards here, a lot of wineries, a lot of wineries in Niagara. And so for somebody like me who doesn't drink, it's just, oh, cool, wineries everywhere. But if they had fluoride in the water, that would be a big problem for the wineries. Yeah, exactly. So in big cities where there's no wineries, freaking dump the fluoride in. Dump that fluoride in. The more the better. Can we get like 1 million fluorides? Bring it up to 1 million. Dial it up. Yeah. My gasket, oh my God, Drew, my gasket around the top of the Mega Home filter, I was trying to clean it and it broke. So I had to order one online for $30. So for about, I've already got it, we're back up to normal, but we had a couple days there, we went back to buying jugs of distilled water, like 4 liters at a time or a gallon at a time. And what a pinch. Like it sucks to have to go back to that because you're looking at all this plastic. And I'm throwing out all this plastic and I'm like, did we do this for years? But we did. Yeah, the Mega Home itself to buy was $2.99 2 years ago. And we've had it and been distilling our water ever since. Before that, I got jugs. Here in the office, I'm gonna turn this camera around. Here in the office, I have distilled water right there. You can see it says distilled right on it. And I have another one sitting over there as a backup. Because I'm here a lot, obviously. And I don't want to drink chlorine or fluoride. Let's move this a little bit. I didn't do that wiring job. I can't go around cleaning up everybody's work. Yeah, exactly. So this stuff pays for yourself. It's an initial investment, and if you can get around that pinch. But anyway, so I was saying that I grew up with having minimal amount of fluoride. And I probably drank more fluoride in my drinking days than I did as a child because when you're drinking beer and alcohol and whatever in my late teens and early 20s, you know, you're getting that from God knows where and consuming God knows how much fluoride. I have no idea, but there's... So now I'm on the other end of it. I'm on the parent side and I have an 8-year-old and I have a 5-year-old. And my 5-year-old has come in with paperwork from the Niagara School Board system, and they're saying for the second time this year, we're going to do another round of fluoridation because we might have missed some people the first time because we took him out of school that day. So now they're doing it again. And they're saying, oh, you know, it's your second round of fluoridation. So, and they have this whole blurb about, you know, the Dentist Association of here, because we don't fluoridate the water, because other municipalities do and we don't, we recommend that we do these fluoride treatments for children twice a year. And this is what I woke up to, by the way, this morning. I had put it out of my mind a few months ago, last time it happened, but I woke up to it this morning and I was just like livid. And I'm talking to Desiree and I'm saying like twice in 1 year. Tyler, our younger one, 5 years old, he still has his baby teeth. He doesn't even have adult teeth. What the hell are we trying to protect? These baby teeth are going to fall out of his head next year, all of them. So this BS about we're protecting his teeth is total nonsense. Total nonsense. He's 5 years old. They're going to fall out of his face. Don't give me that crap about, oh, we're protecting his teeth. Protecting what? They're baby teeth. That's number one. Number two is Desiree is from Germany. Her parents, I've talked about before, are actually academia professors from Germany. So here's Desiree this morning trying to explain to our 5-year-old and our 8-year-old. Well, fluoride was first discovered by I.G. Farben in Germany, and it was used by the Nazis against their enemies, and they dumped it into the water because it found it made them docile. And it's a poison, it's a cockroach poison, it's rat poison, it's the main ingredient in sarin nerve gas. And Caden is just like, Mommy. And Tyler is just like, I don't ever want to get fluoride. Yeah, we're not trying to freak the kids out, but it's like, what? And then if you have too much fluoride, you get dental fluorosis. And another evidence of dental fluorosis is when your nails get those white chips on them. These are the nails of a guy who doesn't consume fluoride. They're almost pink. You know, I stopped drinking tap water in 2008. So you know how people get those white chips around their fingernails? As soon as I started monitoring what I was drinking and only drinking distilled water and purified water, I found all that went away. So I don't drink like canned beverages or bottled beverages unless I know where it came from. Maybe you think I'm a little bit weird, but since 2008, which was 11 years ago, I don't have white chips in my teeth, and I don't have white chips in my nails. Your nails are a window to your bones, and your teeth are a window to your bones. So if your teeth are falling apart with little white chips that have a different density than your teeth, I mean, that's what your bones are doing. You're going to wind up with arthritis. You're going to wind up with bone problems, bone degeneration. And I don't want to have aches and pains and arthritis and achy joints and whatnot as I get older in my body. So, you know, take care of yourself. If you're going to be in a human body, don't poison it. You know, be in it as long as you can and try not to poison it. So that's my whole thing about fluoride. They took it out of our water supply in the 80s here, not around us. Don't get me wrong. They fluoridate in Toronto. They fluoridate in a lot of the states. Is there a state that they don't fluoridate the water? I don't know. You tell me. But sodium hydrofluoride or hydrofluorosilicic acid, sodium hydrofluoride, is like a banner name for like a bunch of other cocktails. If you want to find some really good information on water quality, type in Adam Josh, the infamous water quality article. I spent a long time, a couple weeks, writing an article just about water quality and everything that I found over the years, because I got really into it in 2007 and 2008. And here we are 11 years later. So I've also worked in the field of water quality as a technician, and I had to deal with it quite a lot with water testing, total dissolved solid testing for chlorine levels and sanitizer levels. So I know what I'm talking about, and sometimes I get excited about it, especially when people talk about giving this crap to children. So don't drink your tap water, distill your water, get all the crap out of it. Distilling takes out all the total dissolved solids. And the problem is, a lot of the times we don't know what the dissolved solids are. How do you test for the dissolved solids? There could be dead bodies dissolved in your water supply, like there are in Lake Ontario. There's dead bodies. Humans, animals, there's a lot of dead bodies in Lake Ontario. There's drugs, because the pharmaceuticals are peed out of your urine, and the retired people who are on tons of medication, they go to the bathroom, it winds up back in Lake Ontario. So there's drugs, not just pharmaceuticals, but there's also hormones from people that are on hormones or hormone mimickers, and like estrogen and testosterone. Then there's also street drugs, because heroin, cocaine, all those fun things that people like to do winds up in their urine and back in Lake Ontario. All those things that are a big cocktail of poison wind up back into our tap water, and you give it to babies with an undeveloped immune system. Then you give it to kids. Here, make sure to drink 8 glasses a day, they say. 8 glasses. So unless you're filtering this stuff out, which your water treatment facility is literally treating the water with chemicals, that's what they call it, a treatment facility. They pass it through some basic filters and then treat the snot out of it with chlorine usually, and some other things. They shock the water. And I've worked at water treatment facilities, so I've seen a lot of stuff firsthand that I don't talk about. But the bottom line is, like other people in this YouTube chat right now, I started distilling my water. But radioactive mats for a mob, yeah. In Upper New York State, during World War II, there was nuclear waste from weapons that were being built, bombs that were being built, dumped underground, and it affected a local water supply, and the government has swept it under the rug and tried to ignore it. So there's a lot of people living near a nuclear waste dump near a water supply. And if you're in the States and you're concerned about that, especially in New York State, I would look it up. New York State nuclear dump. I know this because there's a couple of people in my family who are doctors, and they started researching this, a part of their studies, and then they wound up coming to me and saying, "Oh, Adam, you're like a conspiracy theorist about this stuff. Like all this other stuff you talk about is totally crazy, but you're actually right about this. That the water quality issue in New York State is a pretty big deal because there's actually a waterway contaminated by nuclear waste. Also, around Lake Ontario, there's actually a nuclear power plant in Pickering. So I also know some people who wound up working there. Hudson River, yeah." Talk about the Hudson River. How about Lake Erie? It caught on fire with all the pollution in it. You can go on YouTube and type in Lake Erie caught on fire. So they used to just dump this carte blanche with no regulations. Dump all the industrial waste into our waterways and then give it to us to drink. There's places, and I cover this in my infamous water quality article, there's places where you can light the tap water on fire, especially if they're fracking. If they're fracking nearby, they have natural gas pockets that wind up in the air, and you can literally hold a match or a lighter to their tap and light your water on fire. But you're going to give that to your kids to drink, yeah. Real safe. So water quality is a huge issue. Flint, Michigan knows that. And if we don't take it seriously, clearly our government, they think that, like our local governments think that they've done enough by plumbing water up to your door that you can shower in. They've plumbed it up to your door and then they charge you for it, and they think they've done enough. But that's not enough. We have to take some accountability for our own bodies. I think the local governments that we deal with, they may do their best, I don't know. I've got into it with local water quality technicians over the years. You can go on my website and type in, or look up adamjosh.com, your tap water is poison. I wrote that like a decade ago. And I got into it with some local people here, and yeah, there's certain places around Niagara that I probably shouldn't show my face. I get passionate about it, man. It is not cool to poison people, especially poison children. And now that I have my own kids, it is totally not cool. And I'm really upset about what's going on with I have to take Tyler out of school for a second time now because they want to dump fluoride in his face. So it bugs me a lot. I feel like my job as a parent is to make sure that my children get to adulthood with their brains and bodies intact. Like, that's my job, to make sure that they're okay from here to there. So they're healthy, they're happy, they're educated. That's my job. And you're screwing with my job right now. You're getting in my way, and I don't like that. I don't like when people get in my way and screw up my work. So get the hell out of my way and let me raise my kids properly. So it bugs me a lot. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for stopping by Morning Banana, and I will see you on the next Morning Banana, which will be number 15. It sounds so bad when it's slow. Let's speed it up. Yeah. Maybe not that fast. Sing! Take care, guys. Follow me on Twitter, @AdamJosh.com. Bye, brother. Enjoy your day. Take care.